me. Happy Tuesday to y'all. The time in California is 5:09 p.m. And I hope everyone's had a well, wonderful, and productive day. As for me, my day really has been well on the overall. Right now, I'm about to head and pick up Mini-Me from school. Had a good day at school, too. Just had to get his homework out the way. And about to take him to MMA practice. And starting by the end of this week or beginning of next week, I'll be joining with him for competitive Muay Thai, competitive BJJ. But my body needs it right now. So anyway, don't get over, sir. The purpose of me doing this video, I know people are seeing like my energy is all over the place, and once my scales are tipped, everything just thrown off. And so I'm trying to understand, one thing I love about psychology, even sociology, and just spirituality, especially as you're a reader, is that you not only read people, but you also read your own energy. And so when certain situations happen, I just really observe myself and what's causing me to act or react a certain way. And so I'll make this quick. I think I'm having a trigger I know I'm having a trigger moment right now. As many have seen me over the years, I'm always the whole TCG crazy as hell female. I'll sit there and be the first one to bust someone upside their head. And if you ever really need me, I'll be there. But I've let go of a lot, especially after Daddy died, and I had to heal myself with some things, and not just because of him, but just actually taking observation of myself and like healing myself from other traumas that I've endured in my life. And for one that's close to me in my clique, I fell out with her years ago, and I took a break, just stepped away, disappeared for a while, and an event happened that brought us back together recently. This is after 3 or 4 years. And so, as I've developed peace and I've learned a lot and come a long way, of some have seen in my situations, I'm not the same person I used to be. And as I've grown and healed, there's some things that I used to be able to stand, I can't stomach anymore. And it affects my aura, it affects my balance, and it's fucking with me. And that, again, I say, be careful of the people you associate with, because energy does attract and gravitates and travels. So you have people who say are successful and, they're always happy and don't tolerate bullshit. Their lives are simple. You start to take on that same type of aura. And same goes to people who surround themselves with the fucked up ass personalities and just drama and mess. That shit will latch on and start to affect your life and affect your mood, your way of thinking, and that's not cool. And so I'm thinking to myself two different things. Why am I so aggressive and trying to be a Doberman to save situations? And it's because this person had my back after Daddy was murdered. She's been there for me. And not just that, I think back to the fact of, I think I'm holding on to the fact that when Daddy was murdered, he reached out for me to help, and that same deadline, the day he gave me to have that bitch out of his house, and no matter if he brought her up, no matter how many times I broke them up and did whatever he asked me to do, he always brought her back. I was not there this last time. I left it to him to suffer the consequences of his own actions. And thus Daddy got murdered because he brought her back, and I will never understand why. No matter how much I cleaned up, he still brought her back. Again, life's about choices. And on the same end, I'm trying to understand, I've been conditioned so much in my life to always have to save people in situations. And so I'll give a good example that for my brother, my biological brother, who took my virginity, has been my molester, my abuser all these years, over the years, from childhood even to adulthood, early on. And all the stuff that he's done to me, for at least for our culture that I know of, everyone knows that when stuff's out in the open, we still have to be hush hush and just deal with situations and push things under the rug. No matter what's happened in my brother's life, as he's made some extremely bad choices in his life, hanging with the wrong crowd, got on drugs, whatever he does. And some of you guys who know my brother offline know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've always been the one, been called to come save him, help him, get him out of situations. And I did it just to help for the sake of my parents, and because I'm trying to be forgiving. And so I can't even count on my fingers the amount of times, my brother as an adult, keep in mind he's 7 years older than me, that I've had to put down personally out of my pocket for deposits for him to move to different apartments, or find some type of drug counseling or drug help for him, or an outreach program, only for him to fuck up and hang around the same exact fucking people, whether it be loan sharks, whatever else. And even if we moved him from whatever area that he was in, he will always find the same type of people and the same situations happen to him. And so, even having to go as far as even having to file for conservatorship, I've always had to be my brother's keeper. I've been forced to try to help save people, even if I did not want to. Same with my father. Whatever happened with litigations, even restraining orders, even with the woman who had him murdered, all the stuff that happened even years beforehand when things were popping off, it was always me that gets called to fix and protect people and fix situations. And that's just my nature. And it took a real toll on me. Same with my mother. For both my mother and my father, before my dad was murdered, I refinanced his house. Well, I did a modification for his home twice. And he had the money. There was no problem with it. But, just people just stop giving a fuck. But yet I get called to fix everything. And for my mom, I refinanced both her loans. I'll never forget and still won't ever get appreciated for that part. And I also did a reverse mortgage for her, so she never has to pay a note ever again for the rest of her life. And there's things like that. When things happen, I'm always the one to get called because I am a protector. I am the one that's a beast. I am a Doberman. But people don't realize the toll it takes on you. And so what I think is happening in this situation is that, it's one thing if someone's truly in need and they're trying to change and grow and something unfortunate is happening to them. But when you keep making the same choice decisions, when you keep surrounding yourself with the same people, you have not learned from your past mistakes. That's no longer a fucking mistake. It's now a choice. And so why am I saving people who are not really trying to grow and save themselves? And I think what bothered me is that even hearing last night, that I'm thinking that after time has passed, that there has been some good times, but every year there's a pattern. It's always something. And so as this person who I do love and care about so much has been reintroduced back into my life, as people have seen me over the months, especially over the summer months, even regardless of whatever happened with losing my brother, my big bro, L, my life has been harmonious. It's been quiet. It's been peaceful. I still have my own adventures, but, I don't have drama. I really am in a happy place. And I stopped trying to help people who are not trying to help themselves. So for people like my brother, people like my mother, I consider it toxic because they always want or need, always crying a victim about something, but yet still doing the same type of patterns to continue the same type of behaviors. I cut all that shit off. I cut it all off. It hurts me and it's been bothering me and taking a toll on my soul because I'm sitting here wasting my time, my gas, my energy, everything else just for people to repeat the same motherfucking mistake and same pattern. And so here I am, and it has not even been a year, almost a year. And so where I've been so copacetic, I've been getting my peace of mind, I've been healing, I've been growing, I've been on my own journey, I'm getting my pursuit of happiness on several levels. I've learned from my mistakes. I'm being drawn back into a similar pattern. And it's taking a toll because the things I was able to tolerate before, I am no longer able to tolerate. And people wonder why I get so upset and angry and why I stay away so much. And the same things I'm saying right now, I've said in so many different words to the person who is directed to. It's not to hurt them, but it's respect for me. I just can't fuck with certain shit. So I'm going to do what I said I was going to do to sit there and fix some situations. But after this, I have to really take an evaluation of my life and the people that surround me, because some people are only meant to come into your life for seasons and reasons. And you have to realize, sometimes that season might be ended. And as you've grown and gone to a whole different journey, that person might still be where they are. And it's meant for you to sit there and say bye. And at the same time, you have to realize, too, that situations and tests will keep presenting themselves until somebody actually masters that lesson. So if you clean up one bit of drama, you still have some other drama come in your life because the people you surround yourself with, you still bang your head because you haven't gotten a motherfucking lesson. You're going to go through whatever you're going through until you learn your fucking lesson. And not everyone's going to be able to fix your situation if you cannot fix yourself. In the same token, I'm losing myself. And that is the part that is going to fuck people up. Not trying to hurt people, but it's starting to fuck with my soul a lot. It's been messing with me. And when I said certain situations or said certain comments about someone reminds me of my mother, there's a valid reason why, because the same patterns, the same exact patterns. You can't expect people to behave and think and act the way you do. So even for me, some people remember me all the way, even after Daddy passed away, I was making up to 6 figures a year. Balling the fuck out of control until I lost my damn mind after Daddy passed away up until 2013. And I let go of everything. My mind was gone. I just started giving up on life, and I gave a huge contract away. And in that whole process, you know, people come out the woodwork. Just because people are nice to you and they're your homies or associates or acquaintances or cool to drink with or party with, does not mean you can sit there and do business with just motherfucking anybody, because they may not be qualified. And that's a huge downfall of what happened to my business, and trusting too many people who you thought were your friends, who you thought could be cool with, people you just knew who are just cool, but they sat there, they stole from me, they sat there and showed up to work late, they sat there and fucking smoking weed on the professional jobs. You know, it was just liabilities. And so it's because they caught me at a downtime. That's how my downfall started. I just kind of gave up and said, fuck it. And the only person who I could really trust out of all my so-called friends or all so-called family, you know, was Mr. Bush. He's the only person. That's why Daddy liked him so much. It's not just because he was college educated, but because he was qualified. Not just a friend, but he was qualified. He was consistent. He was punctual. And even when I fell short, he would sit there and be in some management type of shit, but he was on point. So realize the fact that just because you could be cool with people does not mean you could do business with them. And that's why I'm funny about who I do business with too, because people will fucking use you on those notes too. So that's a whole different story. But then again, I just learned my lesson. Some people just don't learn from their lessons and mistakes. You know what I mean? And so why am I trying to continuously save people and stress myself out and go back to the stroke center over some shit where people are not trying to help themselves? And it's something like that I have to work on, because right about now I'm evaluating. My gut is telling me after all this is done to let that shit go. Seasons have ended and just move on. You don't have to be hurtful to the person. You don't have to sit there and be angry at them. You can still love them and say, I wish you the best, but you have to move on with your life and know when to cut those toxins off that no longer serve a purpose and things that you have grown and healed from. So in any event, you guys, I know I'm flooding right now as far as emotional, but I'm trying to understand exactly why I am reacting the way I am and why I'm having allergic reactions as far as like stress. Even my head is starting to hurt for the first time in I don't know how long. And I'm just really angry. I've never been like this in such a long time. It's because I'm not in a happy spot, because my balance is thrown off. And it's because the environment that's surrounding me. Not everybody is just one particular environment. And, you know, I could see if it was maybe a one-time thing, but it's been an ongoing pattern. I think that's what's fucking with me, because it's triggering the same type of thing I do with other people who have not served a purpose that was well in my life. It's just, it continues forward. And I think what also bothers me too is the fact that as a person was there for me when I needed them years ago, you know, I feel the need to return the favor, but I'd be on return the favor. So why do I feel so obligated to keep proving myself and keep giving myself to that person, and they're not trying to heal or fix themselves? And so, you know, you can do what you do. I know some people who know me, a lot of people, you guys, who know me offline. I vent online. You know, I just sit there and use Facebook as a video diary or a diary, just a journal entry. That's how I vent. I type 80 words a minute. I can just sit there and type as I speak. But offline, you guys always see me asking, how are you doing? How's your day going? What's going on in your life? I'm always supporting and embracive of you. And whatever issues I have, y'all don't sit there and see me fucking open my mouth and sitting there going off. And if I do, shit is very short-lived, because I fix my situations. You don't catch me keep repeating the same motherfucking mistakes. But that's just me from learning from things. And I can't surround myself with people who are not trying to grow and learn, because it's very detrimental to my fucking spiritual, like, happiness and, like, harmonious being. So, I sound crazy right now, you guys. I think I really am off balance. I am. I'm a Libra. My scales are tipped over right now. But again, I say, be careful of the company you keep, and be careful of the energy you surround yourself with. And even as you love people, realize you have to love yourself first and foremost. And sometimes you do have to love people from a distance. Doesn't mean you have to hate them and sit there and be a hater on them, but you just love and respect yourself a hell of a lot more. So in that note, you guys, I'm almost picking up my kid, and you guys have a good evening. I think I explained myself pretty damn clear.